I'd like to call to order the Milan Area Schools Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you to everyone who's attending this evening and who will be watching the recording. All board members are present this evening. Yes, all board members are present. We will start with communications and community engagement with public comment. A reminder that this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public meeting. There are 2 times for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. When addressing the board, you will be asked to state your name. The board determines the amount of time granted to individuals or groups to speak. Each person shall be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. Board members may question speakers but are not obligated to answer questions or make statements or commitments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such items will be referred to the superintendent for advisement, investigation, study, and/or recommendation, or designated as future agenda items for board consideration. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? So you can step to that microphone right there, yep, and then there'll be a, okay. I think there's a little lip there too, I think. And then make sure that green button's pressed for.
Okay, thank you. My name is Deborah Chapman, maiden name Galante, so I'm a graduate of Milan, as is the rest of my family. My husband is Kevin Chapman there. Today we will be discussing our son, Kellen Chapman. Although I've recently been made aware that there are other families in Milan Community School District who may share the same concern that we do, today we're just here to talk about Kellen. So Kellen has a rare liver disorder called tyrosinemia, which can cause CNS, which is central nervous system issues. Sometimes this can also result in tyrosine-induced autism, they call it. Kellen sees both liver and genetics at the University of Michigan specialists twice a year. Kellen has sensory overload, developmental delays, emotional regulation, and underdeveloped social skills, as well as what has been identified here as benchmark deficits. All of these are impacted by the fact that Kellen's tyrosinemia allows him to consume only 15 grams of protein a day. That's a 1 and a 5, not a 5 and a 0, because that's kind of, sometimes I get asked that question. So 15 grams of protein a day. I also want to be clear that we do not consider Kellen disabled because we know that he's perfectly capable and able to do things, but he needs to be allowed to do them in his own time frame, which may not always be the traditional time frame that the average student or child does them in. He has the ability and can be successful if given the tools and opportunity. Kellen has historically been socially promoted to the next grade level, despite testing that clearly identifies that socially he does not relate to kids his own age and has, or as they develop, and he develops at a slower rate. We've had neuropsych testing and cognitive testing done from the University of Michigan. From what I have read, the idea behind social promotion is to keep a student where they can relate to their peers, which I can understand this in a general case. However, Kellen does not relate to 10-year-olds. He relates to 8-year-olds. Kellen also has a first grade reading level, which makes other academics very difficult for him. He has a 2-year delay pretty much in everything across the board. And that has been consistent over the years. And the older he gets, though, the more apparent that becomes to him, his self, which can lead him to be more frustrated. And sometimes this has even spilled over into the classroom. And as we all know, the IEP stands for the Individualized Education Program, and it should be personalized to every single person. In this case, with Kellen, that implies that things need to be tailored, to his age level. This year, we were expected to have him placed in 5th grade. We asked the school over the summer, which we have asked before, but this time all parentals were on the same page. We would like Kellen to repeat the 4th grade. The principal is new. She said that she saw guidance from his IEP team and the special education team. And they denied that request. My husband and I met with Lon earlier today, and he also said that it was not his decision solely, but it was a decision of the district. Basically, the IEP and the plans that were in place for him have not helped close that gap, and he's had an IEP for 6 years. Okay. The 2-year gap that he has consistently stays. So it's not that he doesn't make any strides at all. His strides continue to be 2 years at a gap. So I read the policy about retention and promotion from the board that is set forth, and we do not feel that the school administration is in line with that. I have yet to be sent a policy for the elementary education area that states the child should be promoted regardless of them being properly prepared for the next grade level, even with the parents requesting that they be retained to the lower grade so that he has the opportunity to repeat and maybe retain the skills this time. We are also working with his medical professionals to get him on a low dose of something for his ADHD to help him focus. So we believe with that, and aligned with maybe even a prolonged school year, we can close this 2-year gap, but we need to partner with the school in order to do that. We can't just keep pushing him forward and getting him frustrated. And then last year he was suspended. He pulled posters off of the teachers' walls, things of that nature. So we're just asking the school board to encourage the administration to reconsider their decision.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. We definitely hear your concern. We appreciate that. Mr. Gerbaugh, will you look into this situation then? And
Yes, I've been aware of the situation. I can look into it and bring information back to the board as requested.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Others.
I'll share some things that may be of interest to you.
Oh, I don't. Yep.
Now am I on?
There you go.
Thank you. I thought it was off because the red light typically means off. Anyway, good evening, board members and members of the Milan community. I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself to those in the district who may not know who I am. My name is Andrea Benink, and I serve as the Milan representative for the WISD Parent Advisory Committee, which is commonly referred to as PAC. PAC meets every other month during the school year to advise the WISD and our local districts on special education services. We also work collaboratively with our districts to share information with families about special education. PAC representatives stay up to date on information, laws, and best practices in special education. We also strive to share resources with staff that may be beneficial in the education setting, such as workshops, continuing education opportunities, and learning materials that support students in school. Our first PAC meeting of the 2024-25 school year is Tuesday, September 17th from 6:30 to 8:30. This takes place at the WISD TLC building, which is at 1819 South Wagner Road in Ann Arbor. And our meetings are open to the public, and we welcome the community. As in years past, there's still room for another PAC representative from Milan, and our requirements are that you have a student with an active IEP attending school in the Milan district. Please connect with me if you're interested in serving the community in this way. If any families in the Milan area schools have questions about special education or need resources, feel free to reach out to me at andreabenink.pacrep@gmail.com. I did have some things I wanted to share with the community and board this evening. I made some copies of flyers that I had sent to Lon Smith to be shared with our Milan families. I sent these electronically to the board this afternoon, and there are copies that are here outside by the administrative office, so feel free to pick those up, share with families that you think might find them valuable. There are a couple of learning opportunities I wanted to share with our educators. Gigi's Educator Symposium offers a workshop that focuses on supporting learners with Down syndrome. This year's course is Saturday, September 21st from 11 to 3:45. You can visit gigisplayhouse.org to register, and this symposium offers continuing education credits as well. So it's a free symposium that offers CEUs, which is an amazing opportunity. The Oklahoma School for the Deaf is offering free courses on American Sign Language. You can visit their website and search free ASL courses to find the registration link. These courses are online and self-paced, open to the public. And finally, I wanted to showcase these adapted literature books that I thought would be a great resource for students who may need additional reading support and desire to be reading the same materials as their peers, especially once they get into middle school and high school level. These books follow the same plot as the classic literature, but they're available as symbolized readers or early readers, and they allow access to readers, materials to readers of all disabilities. So they have Sherlock Holmes, and like a sample page of this is an early reader. So the text looks, a little bit larger. It's a simplified version, but it's the same plot. Moby Dick, it's a symbolized version. So students who might use an AAC device would be familiar with the symbols in here. Amazing opportunity for dyslexic readers to start connecting words with meanings and comprehension. I think that these are a great resource that might be of interest to our literacy teachers and our literature teachers as well. I think it would be awesome if our teachers were able to provide modification like this for all of our texts. Like, what if we used AI to input your text and ask for the prompt, convert this to a second grade reading level, or convert this to an adapted AAC type text. I think that could be a really useful tool so that all of our learners and all of our different abilities in our classes can access course content comparable to their peers. Sorry. I wanted to share that the Michigan Department of Education is hosting an AI in Education workshop throughout the month of October and into November. It's a 4-session workshop, and information can be found at the MDE website. So if educators are interested in looking at how AI may be used in the classrooms, I think that'd be a great opportunity for them. So I look forward to continuing to update the board and the community following our PAC meetings this year. So thanks for the time. I'll share these with you guys. I figured Miss Moray would be like, give me that. I want that publication. Every Cherry Publishing. It's a certain publisher, and not all texts, but some. And you can find one in that. Yeah, look through them, but I want them back. Oh yeah, no, you have to take it. We'll have it. Yeah, I mean, there's a project I'm involved in. Similar.
Are there others?
Yeah.
All right. We will move on to routine matters for approval. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting of August 10th, 2024.
Motion by Pryor, support by Gutierrez.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting of August 10th, 2024. Ms. Hike, any discussion? Sorry. It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting of August 10th, 2024. Ms. Heike.
Heike, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting closed session of August 10th, 2024.
Moved by Murray,
Support by Farrow.
So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting closed session of August 10th, 2024. Those are found in the envelopes in your chairs. Any concerns? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the workshop meeting closed session of August 10th, 2024. Ms. Heike.
Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heike, yes. Motion carries 7-0.
Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 14th, 2024.
Motion by Rosenleacher. Support by Gutierrez.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 14th, 2024. Any questions or comments? Ms. Heike. It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of August 14th, 2024. Ms. Heike.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heike, yes. Murray,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
And then I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of August 14th, 2024.
Moved by Murray.
Support by Gutierrez.
So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of August 14th, 2024. Again, those were in the envelopes. Any concerns? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of August 14th, 2024. Ms. Heika?
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
All right, now we'll move on to the strategic plan business. First up in the area of personnel and leadership, we have a couple of teacher appointments. I need a motion to approve Vicki Baker as the elementary art teacher and Alexis Robinson as a Young Fives teacher effective for the 24-25 school year.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Heika.
So moved and supported to approve Vicki Baker as the elementary art teacher and Alexis Robinson as a Young Fives teacher effective for the 24-25 school year. Any discussion? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve Vicki Baker as the elementary art teacher and Alexis Robinson as the Young Fives teacher effective for the 2024-25 school year. Ms. Heika?
Sislo,
Yes.
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
All right, next up we have a couple of contracts to approve. Need a motion to approve the cafeteria employee policies as detailed in attachment A.
Moved by Pryor. Support by Rosenleacher.
It's been moved and supported to approve the cafeteria employee policies as detailed in attachment A. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Yes, just happy to bring you a couple of our first contracts to approve. Some of you sat in on these negotiations. It is a union. It is just a local union. It's our cafeteria employees. So remember, Chartwell's does provide our manager, but all of the rest of the employees in the kitchens are our employees. We were able to work with them. Happy to bring the lowest salary up to $15 an hour for our cashier helper, kind of getting those in line with what we've been trying to do with some of our other hourly employees. And then just a few language things that they wanted tweaked, better explaining things. No really other major changes. We did alter their attendance bonus. It used to be a year long, and now we broke it down into 2 semesters so that they have 2 chances to attempt to earn that attendance bonus. That way, if you get sick early in the year, you still have an opportunity later in the year to earn an attendance bonus, and we appreciate those folks being here on a regular basis. So I appreciate all of the hard work of everyone, including the negotiating team for this group, and would greatly appreciate board support of that contract.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Gearbaugh, I have a quick question. The contract itself does not specify what health insurance payer the district has to use for the health insurance, right? It only dictates the payment amounts that the district will make versus the employees, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so based on that, I don't believe I have a professional conflict, because we don't require that the district carry a certain health insurance.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the cafeteria employee policies as detailed in attachment A. Ms. Heika?
Farrow,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika, yes. Murray,
Yes.
Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher,
Yes.
Sislo,
Yes.
motion carries 7-0.
Next, I need a motion to approve the master agreement with the Milan Area Schools Transportation Association as detailed in attachment B.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Pryor.
It's been moved and supported to approve the master agreement with the Milan Area Schools Transportation Association as detailed in attachment B. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Yes, again, we worked with this group. We were happy to be able to come to a settlement fairly quickly. There's a little bit more language changes in these, but it's really more about the operation of the department and kind of how field trips are assigned to bus drivers, and how we handle compensation for those field trips. Obviously, we did address compensation. We addressed their attendance bonus. We did the same thing. We broke it into 2 equal pieces. This insurance, we are actually with this one providing two options now, and they are specifically listed as Community Blues PPO and a BCN product. So Ms. Heike, I do want, this contract does specifically list those, so I know that affects your ability to vote. But we are excited to bring them two options, and really the drivers can choose which one works best for them. There's a little bit difference in cost if they want to save money. Obviously, that comes with a little bit difference in what the coverage is, but they were excited to have options. So again, overall, I want to thank the team that worked with me on this from the transportation department. I'm very excited to get this in place and get their increases in salaries in place for the start of the school year.
Any other discussion? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the master agreement with the Milan Area Schools Transportation Association as detailed in attachment B. Ms. Heike.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heike, I will be abstaining due to a previously identified professional conflict. Oh, I have to keep going though. All right. Yes. Pryor,
Yes.
Rosenleacher. Yes. Sislo,
Yes.
Barrow.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0 with 1 abstention.
All right, next up on our agenda is the superintendent evaluation rubric discussion. So at our training workshop a few weeks ago, there's several laws that changed in regards to the superintendent evaluation. One of them was moving from 4 areas of identification of ineffective, minimally effective, effective, and highly effective to 3. So they've gotten rid of the highly effective. And with that, we will be looking at that school data in regards to that. And it was suggested that we take a look at the student growth data in order to set that so that we're not setting it just before the we do the evaluation of Mr. Gearbaugh. And during that training, from MASB, Michigan Association of School Boards, Scott recommended to us as the board that we kind of retain what we have that we use this year, since this training just these laws just went into effect for September, to use what we used previously, use the standards that we used previously, but adjust them such that they meet the 3 new areas that's there. So it's needs support, developing, and effective. So in order to move those within those, it was needs support was 0 to 20, developing was 20 to 40, and effective was 40 to 100, and that would be in line with what we were measuring before. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Gearbaugh, in regards to your?
The only thing that I would add is the way that the state law reads is the way that I am evaluated on data is basically a kind of a trickle up situation. So whatever standards we use for our teachers on their data has to be used for the administrators in the buildings, and then has to be used for me. So when you set my kind of cut scores as to what deems need support, developing, and effective, you're in essence setting those for everyone downstream from me. So what I provided you in your notes is kind of the rubric that we used last year that had the 4 categories. You can kind of see where our scores were. And then I gave the suggestion that we kind of maintain each year. You can discuss this with the superintendent to look at possibly changing those if we start to really have good growth and we need to bump that up to kind of set new targets. You can absolutely do that. But that's why I brought you, and you can kind of see in each of those boxes the old weighted average and the new weighted average, so you can kind of see where we are and kind of the recovery we're making. And so that's all I have to add. If anybody has any questions, we can answer them.
Other discussion?
Mr. Sislo?
Yeah, Ms. Rosenleacher.
I think the one thing that I want to make sure for our community that they understand is not just have we gone from 4 categories down to 3, the state has renamed them. So previously it was ineffective, minimally effective, effective, and highly effective. And now the new state law says needs support, developing, and effective. I just think we want to make sure that as our
Right. It's
reports
not just
change to the public, that they understand that this is a shift because of how the law has identified it. And I believe these are gonna be the same categories then that will impact our other educators from administrative teams.
Yes,
Teachers.
the laws mirror each other. So these new categories and cut scores are for teachers, building administrators, district administrators, and myself.
Thank you.
Other comments? That was, yes, very important distinction. It's not just that the top one went away, it's the whole, they all changed. All right. That brings us back to communications and community engagement, and we will return to public comment. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board? That's totally fine. You can, yep, you have, you can
do the same topic.
you can do this.
It's sort of a different topic. So in my research for figuring out like what legislation was and where we were in our parental rights and things like that, one of the things that did strike my attention was that there was a new Michigan law in 2023 that states that in all rooms where school boards meet, and even in school administration, that the Michigan Constitution, there are specific things that are supposed to be posted in here. And I was going to ask, say, are they somewhere? Did I miss them? And I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware. That's all.
I appreciate it. No, that's
Because I'm like, I didn't see it. It says in
Oh.
a prominent place, and I signed in, but I didn't. You know.
okay. Yeah, that's where it's at. Just so
I
you
get
know.
it. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it.
You still have time if you'd like.
Oh no. I mean,
Okay.
no. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We appreciate the check for sure. Are there others who'd like to address the board? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Macy Elder, the daughter of George Elder, running for school board this upcoming election. Let me tell you about my first day of high school. As multiple other students, I was nervous and kind of looking for a comforting welcome from peers and teachers. Everything was going great up to my second hour. As I walk in there, a group of boys in front of me, and they're invited into class by "Hello, have a seat." And as I walk in behind them, I'm invited into class by "Sit down." From that point, I felt uncomfortable and as if I wasn't welcome. Mr. Heike began class with telling us about himself and his home life, taking roll call. Students were being called by their first name until it came to me. I was called by my first and last name with a sharp tone. I don't feel as if it's fair to me to be in a class I am not openly welcome in. Clearly, there is an issue I'm unaware of, and it should be taken care of by adults, not students. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you aware of this, Mr. Gearbaugh?
Yes, I received communication from Mr. Elder. I've worked with the high school administration. They have investigated it and they have coordinated a meeting with Mr. Elder to talk to him and try and resolve the matter.
Okay. Thank you for your comment. Are there others? All right. Next up is Assistant Superintendent comments, Mr. McMahon.
Mr. Sislo, thank you. One comment, and I'll give you some grant updates. I just want to thank all the staff for all the work they did over the summer, at the end of the year, in the summer, and then get ready for a great start to the school year. We had a number of staff moving classrooms, moving furniture, relocating, cleaning, and redesigning their classrooms in different buildings. We had all of our elementary teachers were required to do some PD over the summer to prepare for our 3 PD days at the beginning of the year, and they worked extra hard for that. And the principals were hiring committees. I mean, we were busy all summer. And so I just want to thank all the staff formally now for all the work they did to get us off to a great start. I do have a couple grant updates, 3 to be specific. Our consolidated application, the initial budget application is due this Friday. Krista's finished the budget portion. I'll be wrapping up the remaining requirements tomorrow. The initial allocation is just under $200,000, and much of it is going towards Title I, at-risk services, other supports for instruction. Our initial Title III budget has been submitted. We do that in a consortium with essentially the county. There's some other out-of-county districts, but it's an ISD consortium. We submitted a budget there that supports our English language learner students, and that the initial portion is just under 3,000. We'll probably get another 2,000 to 3,000 at our second allocation here coming up in a little while. And the third grant update is about the it's ARP 2. That's left of our COVID funds, but specifically for McKinney-Vento. We had an initial $20,000 or nearly $20,000 to allocate. And so actually Chris Gill came in this summer and helped me order. We ordered clothing items, hygiene kits, school supplies. We have some gift cards that we can use between now and December for more of those items. We also covered some after school care for some of our students that qualify and some transportation to and from for our unhoused students. So we're happy to get that in, and that's submitted, and we've already spent all of it. So now we get to distribute the items. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Next up is superintendent comments. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Yes, thank you. Just a few things to share this evening. First, parents, want to remind you that the 24-25 school calendar is available online. All you need to do is go to milanareaschools.org, click on the calendar link at the top of the page, and you will see a printable calendar. I know for a lot of families, you like to get it printed and get it on the fridge. So please make sure that you do that so you kind of know when our days off throughout the year are. The first week of school has been amazing. The facilities were cleaned and ready to go. Transportation, drop off, pickup, it's going very smoothly at all of the buildings. Food service is up and running and kids are being fed. Most importantly, it was really great to see life back in the hallways of the buildings. Teachers were teaching, students were learning. Our staff and students just did a wonderful job to make the first week of school a huge success. And we know that that will continue tomorrow as we wrap up and then have the 4-day weekend and return next Tuesday. Our fall athletic teams are competing and doing very well so far. Teams currently in season include cross country, equestrian, football, girls golf, sideline cheer, boys soccer, girls swimming, boys tennis, and girls volleyball. Please visit milanbigreds.org for athletic schedules and news from our athletic department. I do want to echo Mr. McMahon's thank yous to all of our staff. There was a tremendous amount of work done this summer, from prepping the buildings to teachers moving to implementing the Reimagine Milan initiative to hiring committees to summer PD online and in person. A lot of people think that school staff only work during the school year, and that's far from the truth. Our staff put a lot of time in the summers getting ready for the next school year, and we just want to thank them for all of their dedication and hard work. 3 of the 4 buildings have held highly successful open houses so far. Milan High School's open house is next Tuesday, the 3rd, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The principals of the other 3 buildings have reported great turnouts at their open houses. That probably helped a little bit with some of the reconfiguration. We had a lot of parents that wanted to make sure they visited the buildings. They also commented on just a positive vibe from the students and parents in the buildings during open house. And we appreciate that beginning of the relationship between our families and the schools. We are, again, in the middle of our first week of school, and truly just want to report that things are going well. Obviously, every year you have a few hiccups, but overall, 24-25 is starting off as a great year. And I want to thank the staff for making that true. Our staff work hard to create a safe and welcoming educational environment for our students and take the extra effort to make sure that every staff member and student from every department is ready to go for the new year. On July 10th, the Board of Education voted to place a site sinking fund millage proposal on the November ballot. Over the next couple of months, and actually next week, community members will start to see some educational materials on that site sinking fund. They will have the announcement of some community forums that are going to be held so that our community members can come and learn about that initiative and that millage and can ask questions. We just look forward to spreading the facts about it so that our community can understand the need that we have in this district for some funds to help maintain our facilities. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gearbaugh. Next up is board member comments.
Mr. Sissa.
Yes, Ms. Heika.
My name is Michelle Heika. I am the wife of Dan Heike. I'm not running for election right now because I currently sit on this board, and this is my second term, and I'm not sure why my husband's being dragged into all of this during an election year. This is not the first time that Mr. Elder has accused my husband and most of my family of this type of behavior due to my position on this board. He's done it many times before. The last time he did it was this past spring at a board meeting that I wasn't able to attend because I was at a work commitment. After that meeting, because it was posted on YouTube, like all of our meetings are, I reached out to Mr. Elder, offered to meet with him, gave him my personal cell phone. It's on Facebook.
No, you did not.
It's on
No,
Facebook.
I got the message.
You had
I
a
got the
moment?
message.
I've got the message too.
All right,
There's
the
always a
last
receipt,
bit.
Mr.
I
Elder.
got the last word.
Rather than take me up on my offer to meet, Mr. Elder simply lobbed more accusations at me and my family, including my daughters. So now that Mr. Heike's name is out there, let me tell the public about the kind of teacher, coach, and man Dan Heike is. He's the teacher that former students stop in public and thank him for not giving up on them. He's the teacher and coach who invites students to our home for a holiday meal and make sure they have a gift when they need a safe place during the holidays. He's the teacher coach that students call first when they need advice, a sounding board, a cheerleader, and a safe space. He's a trusted adult to many, not only current students, but former students, stretching back over 20 years. His swimmers often describe him as the father figure they never had. Their mothers describe him as the father figure their children never had. He receives accolades not only for the wins that his swim team earns, and there are plenty. He receives accolades because he is focused on the entire child, not just their athletic ability. And in fact, what matters more to him is their academic performance and the kind of people that they become, which is why he has had many swimmers who have gone on to be very high performing college students, both in the pool and in the classroom. He has students now with PhDs and many with several master's degrees. He maintains his relationships with his students and swimmers. He watches their college careers develop, often texting them before big meets to wish them luck, congratulating them on their accomplishments, including when they make the dean's list. He spent many times this summer meeting with one particular former student who was very concerned about going off to college. His positive impact on his students is so long-lasting that he is often invited to major events in the lives of his students, including weddings and baby showers. Indeed, he became an ordained minister because one of his former students asked him to conduct her wedding. He is dedicated to his students. He's as a Milan graduate and lifelong Milan resident, other than a few years we lived in Ipsy and moved to DC. He is dedicated to this district. He's dedicated to the swim team. Many of you know he was a high school swimmer here himself. And frankly, we need, and every district needs, more teachers like Dan Heike. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right, speak now. Sorry. Sorry, can I-
Others?
Mr.
Yeah, Ms. Breyer.
I wanted to say I had the opportunity to attend some of the open houses, and they were excellent. It was nice to meet a lot of the teachers, a lot of the families. Very, very well attended. The rooms were really hot. There was hundreds of people there, so it was really nice. There must be some more enthusiasm for the school year this year. I've been to several sporting events. There's lots of people there watching, supporting our teams, and that's great for our kids. There is a football game this Friday. We have a new band instructor who will be out there hopefully marching with the new band and the kids, and I encourage everybody to attend. And a additional note to piggyback off what Mrs. Heike said, I have personal experience with Mr. Heike from my child. He is an excellent teacher who supports his students and made a phenomenal change in my son, who was a quiet kid who got into trouble a lot and never paid attention. He took time with him, he encouraged him, and our family is full-heartedly Team HICA and supports him. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. Others?
Mr. Sisto.
Yeah, Mr. Farrow.
First, just to welcome back to the school year. Hope all of you have a good school year, and welcome back to our teachers and staff. Again, I just hope it's a great year for everyone. The financial audit for the district is ongoing. I'm not sure what the completion date, the official completion date will be, but the financial audit is I know Krista and the office are working on all of that with the auditors. So when we have an update, we will provide one. With regard to public comment earlier, I'm not familiar with this particular circumstance that Mr. Elder's daughter brought to our attention, but from experience, I can tell you that the start of high school can be an anxious and uneasy time. My daughter experienced it. My son experienced it. Mr. Giramal, Mr. Shin, and Mr. Haika, I'm very confident that they will work hard with Mr. Elder's daughter to resolve any concerns that she may have or any misunderstandings that have transpired. Just from personal experience, as Ms. Pryor said, my daughter had Mr. Haika and as a high school student, and she had incredible anxiety her freshman year. And I can say with tremendous confidence that Mr. Haika was extremely helpful during that time period and very understanding. So I would, as a parent, I would encourage you to have your daughter just simply meet with Mr. Haika because
interviewing for on secondary school interviewing for.
Because I think he's a very patient and professional person, and he was extraordinarily helpful to my daughter. Again, not to belabor the point, but my kid just went off to Michigan State University and is experiencing the same kind of anxiety with respect to her school year at MSU, and there are adults. I wish that my daughter had teachers like Dan that could kind of help her with a very difficult time. So that's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Others?
Mr. Sissel?
Yeah, Ms. Murray.
Good evening, everybody. Trying to keep it brief, but I just wanted to congratulate and thank all the staff across all of our buildings for successful open houses this year. I was only able to make it to the middle school one, but I am so excited about how the building looks. It is beautiful, the colorful stripes down each of the hallways. That's been something that staff there have been talking about doing for a number of years, just to increase the navigability of the building and identify the hallways, because it is a bit of a labyrinth, and the glow up that the building has had is wonderful. And specifically, I want to also thank the fifth grade teachers. I had a chance to spend quite a bit of time in the fifth grade hallway and get to see all of their classrooms, meet the teachers. They've done a fabulous job getting moved in and making that little corner of MMS look and feel very welcoming and homey. And then with new staff, just wanted to welcome them too. I didn't quite make it around to everyone. I set a goal when I went in to try to meet all of the new staff that I hadn't met yet in the building, and I think I got about 80% done. There's 2 or 3 that I didn't quite get to, but if I missed them, apologies. I'll get over there eventually and welcome. And yeah, just congratulations to all for a great kickoff to the 24-25 school year. Second thing I want to mention tonight is kind of in relation to one of the public comments tonight. In my day job, I work with an organization called REMC, which stands for the Regional Educational Media Centers of Michigan, and a subsection of Regional Instructional Technology Specialists. But we are working on a number of projects at all times throughout the school year. But one ongoing project that I recently got involved with is related to the Promoting STEM Through Literature initiative that REMC has been leading for a number of years. And it involves purchasing books that promote STEM and STEM themes, art, and they're mostly picture books, but REMC has gotten funding and has made sure that all of our regions around the state have at least one, if not more, sets of these Promoting STEM Through Literature picture books, multiple copies, and they're available for checkout, in our case at the WISD in our lending library. And related to that, one new ongoing project is where the AAC and AT, that's Augmentative and Adaptive Communication and Assistive Technology people in RITS, they're working on adding AAC symbology or symbols to those Promoting STEM Through Literature books, and creating QR codes full of resources to enhance the inclusion and the ability to promote inclusion using those resources in the classroom. So it's not done yet, it's in its fledgling state, but I just wanted to publicize that is happening and that there is a push at the state level to create more inclusive literature for classrooms. And then on that note, just for all teachers in Milan, remc.org is just chocked full of resources that are free, including professional development. That includes free continuing education units, or sketchies, if that's what you call them. And 21 things for teachers, 21 things for students too. Great series of online lessons and learning available for free all the time. Again, that's remc.org. So that's my kickoff to the school year update. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Others? All right, I just have a few things. I do want to thank Ms. Chapman for coming this evening and speaking and letting us know those concerns. I know our response can seem kind of cold, but we do hear you. We do expect Mr. Gearbaugh to follow up with that. And
I just want to introduce myself because I know Ryan, but I don't know anybody else. But, just where I come from. Just 2 minutes.
I'm sorry. I would really, yeah. Well, at that time, I'm sorry. I appreciate the tenacity.
That's right. You don't get what you don't ask for.
But I do appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and Mr. Gearbaugh will keep us apprised. And the MASB conference, I just want to remind my fellow board members to, I've seen a few come in, so make sure to let Ann know of your selections if you are attending. We are having a Big Red Board Chat. It's scheduled for Tuesday, September 17th at 6:30. It's going to be held at the Simons Auditorium. So again, that Big Red Board Chat is Tuesday, September 17th at 6:30 p.m. at Simons. The topic will be the sinking fund. Obviously, that'll be open to the public, and we'll be able to talk about other items as well. There'll be 3 board members attending that in regards to the Open Meetings Act, but again, that's going to be Tuesday, September 17th, 6:30 at Simons. The last thing that I have is student board members. So I've been working with Mr. Shin. A survey has been sent out to the entirety of the junior and senior classes. Last year we had 2 seniors that were student board members. Our general practice is to have a junior and a senior, so we have some continuity as we move through. So we are seeking a junior and a senior this year. We have 3 applicants so far. I believe Mr. Shin has sent out an email reminder, but we've given the students until Friday the 13th to respond to that survey. And then the Academics and Programs Committee will take a look at those applications and make selections for our student board members. They're a very important part of the group to hear their voice here at this board. So if you have a senior or a junior that's interested in serving in that matter, make sure that they see that email from Mr. Shin. All right, any other comments? All right. Next up on the agenda is other old new business. I need a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for negotiation strategies.
Moved by Heike.
Support by Rosenleacher.
It's been moved and supported to enter into closed session pursuant to Section 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for negotiation strategies. The only other order of business after is adjournment. There will be no other actions when we return to open session. Is there any other discussion? All right, it's been moved and supported to enter a closed session pursuant to Section 81C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act for negotiation strategies. Ms. Heike.
Heike, yes. Murray?
Yes.
Pryor?
Yes.
Rosenleacher?
Yes.
Sislo?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
We'll be going into closed session at 7:50 p.m. Drive home safely. Thank you for attending. All right, we are returning to open session at 9:23 p.m. and we are adjourning at 9:23 p.m.